Taking time away from our businesses can feel really scary, but what happens when you're ready to step back in? Today's episode is going to be featuring one of our former WPWS clients, Emily, and what that looked like for her, what it looked like for her to step away from her business when she had other stuff going on in her life that really she wanted to prioritize instead. And she just offers so much amazing insight and advice and just real talk about what it feels like to be stepping away and the things that she had to let go of, both the thoughts and the actual things, and how she was able to navigate that and how she is now coming back into her business, but in a very different way. So we're going to chat through all of that. But before I introduce Emily, I want to share a brand new training that I'm going to be hosting in a few weeks. It is called Have More Clients Saying Yes to Working with You. And I am going to be going over the 3 website shifts that you should be making on your website so that you can have more clients saying yes to your services, booking calls with you, and really wanting to sign up to work with you, because it can be really challenging sometimes to figure out, okay, how come my website is not getting me clients? Why is business so slow? And that is something that I really want to help you with. And I've seen a lot of practitioners' websites be making these same mistakes over and over again that are really costing them leads and clients. And that's just preventing them from doing the work they love and also probably burning out a lot in the process, just trying to chase after leads that really aren't the right fit because their website isn't doing the job that it needs to. So you can go to whitneybateson.com/yes to sign up for this training. It's happening October 7th and 8th. So you can pick the day and time that works best for you. Again, the training is Have More Clients Saying Yes to Working with You. And we are going to be covering how your website should be set up to make your clients just banging down your door to work with you. It is possible. So let me tell you a little bit about our guest, Emily. So Emily is a coffee-loving foodie, mom of 2, and passionate advocate for helping women feel at home in their bodies. She received her undergraduate degree at California Polytechnic State University in nutrition and dietetics with a minor in psychology and her master's in clinical dietetics from Grand Valley State University in Michigan. She's also a certified intuitive eating counselor, and with a strong background in eating disorder recovery and perinatal nutrition, Emily brings both clinical expertise and lived experience to her practice. And her approach, so Emily takes a weight-inclusive, non-diet approach to care. She creates a warm and safe space where clients can explore their relationship with food, body image, and self-worth without judgment. Her goal is to help her clients reconnect with themselves, reclaim their needs, and find joy and confidence in nourishing their whole selves. And we are going to really dive into the journey that her business has been on, where she is taking it now, what is getting her really excited, and lots of great advice as well. So let's dive into the episode. Welcome, Emily, to the podcast. I'm so excited to have you here.
I'm excited too.
Yeah. So it's been a few years since we've worked together. I think it was 2 years ago that you joined our program and
Mhm.
launched your website with us. You have been busy since that time. There's been a lot going on. And so let's just start a bit with where you are today in your business or in your life, whatever you want to share in terms of kind of like what you do.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll get into more of the why after some other questions. But right now, because of the season of life I'm in with motherhood, I have two little ones. I had worked over 10 plus years with eating disorders specifically in like residentials, IOP, outpatient settings. And that is something that's always going to be near and dear to my heart. That's what I'm been passionate about. That's what got me into nutrition and all those kind of things. I think mental health was always a huge part of my life. I also I did a psych minor because I felt like the nutrition courses weren't incorporating this huge piece. And that was really important to me. So,
Yeah.
as much as that's going to be in my life, I really love working with moms now too, because that eating disorder, disordered eating, and body image relationship still shifts so much to mothers, but no one really prioritizes that. It's all about bouncing back and weight loss and working out. And I'm like, these moms are in such critical mindsets and spots and no one's supporting them. They're pushing
Yeah.
them and giving them more that they have to do or should do. And so I love working with them to bring it back and be like intentional to take care of ourselves as moms, to be able to model being able to take care of your kids. So that is a group that I really take to heart right now, is working with mamas.
Yeah, I love that. And so are you finding too that because women who are dealing with an eating disorder or recovering from an eating disorder, it doesn't just magically go away after they become a mother. And I'm sure the entire pregnancy process is challenging as well, especially if you're newly recovered or whatever. So are you finding that you're helping women who have had eating disorders in their past, or are you dealing with just the disordered eating that comes up potentially around like trying to bounce back, or is it like a mix?
Yeah, honestly, a mix, but it's actually more so, I think, moms that either had undiagnosed eating disorders in the past or have always like dieted or had really not good relationships with food. Back then it was encouraged or not thought of as a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's made them even more confused now as a mom because I think they're realizing in this society, wait, this isn't normal. I don't want my kids to have this relationship. I think I need help. And so that's usually when they come to me like, "Oh shoot, like this isn't a good thing. I've always had this and I thought it was normal. And now that I have kids, I'm realizing this is not. And I don't want that to happen to them."
Mm-hmm. So motherhood was that tipping point for them
Mhm.
to see, okay, maybe there's something more that I need to be doing here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome that you have that background that you can bring to help recognize some of those things that otherwise just general nutrition for postpartum and all of that, that's wonderful and great, but also seeing, oh, there might be some underlying, like you mentioned, the psychological. That's such a great pairing of the nutrition and the psychology and mental health because I just, yeah, I've always personally felt that so much of the issues that people struggle with around eating and food are also just so anchored in mental health, just not even like serious issues, but just how we approach our feelings and handle our feelings, and then how that kind of like escalates into some food habits that are not so healthy.
Even think about when people say like they're sad binging on ice cream. Like that but there is an actual reality in that. And when people say, "Oh,
Right.
don't eat mindlessly or don't eat like with your emotions," you can't. Eating is emotional. It brings up memories and triggers and traumas. And so I don't understand why this isn't more of a connection in schooling and people talking about nutrition, because I think that's what makes what I talk about more sustainable for the rest of your life, because you're
Right.
learning to understand the mental aspects that go along with food and eating, because that is something that's always going to be forever. Your diet, your
Hmm.
preferences, your needs will never be forever.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. It's like getting those foundational thoughts and habits and things in place so that people can really take what they learn and continue going. Love it. Okay, so you mentioned and alluded to the fact that like where you started your business a couple years ago, maybe where you started with your website has now shifted with your new mother. You've been a mother for a couple years, but even more you're just getting really tuned into, okay, this is the population that I want to help. So back
Yeah.
when you did your website with us, the initially, did you have a website? I forget, prior to coming in to our program.
One of those like free Canva little website things that was just basic, and wasn't really working. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
need support, but I don't want someone else to just do my website, but I also don't want to do it myself. So how do I balance
Right.
this? And I was like, oh my gosh, I found the perfect solution.
Yeah. So I was going to ask, is that why you joined? Probably also just seeing that you needed a website, like you said, the other one wasn't working. But were there any other reasons that kind of just pushed you over the edge to join our program and say, okay, yes, it's time for a website?
Yeah, I think a few, because for me, I talked to some other people about building a website, but I didn't want to put it fully in their hands, right? Because no one else truly knows you as much as you do.
Mm,
And then I wanted to be able to, if and thankfully, if life permitted and I could like had to stop for a second, I wanted to be able to go back in and fix it and play around with it and change some things and not have to constantly ask my editor person to be like, "Hey, can you fix this? Hey, can you fix this?" I didn't want to deal with that. So when I saw,
Yeah.
"Oh my gosh, you have video models of showing you what to press and how to do this and how to change this, but you also gave us the backbone and the structure, and I could play around with it, but then the hard technology parts you could
Right.
do, but
Right.
then I could go back and fix some things and I have those videos forever." That was like sold.
Yeah, and especially like now, this is
Uh-huh.
definitely that opportunity where it's, oh yes, this is the exact scenario.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so fast forward to today and where you are at currently. So you recently took some time off for your second baby. You had some other stuff going on. I think you moved cross country too in the last couple years. So what was that like taking a break from working and business?
Yes. Again, I didn't expect that to happen. So
Mm.
I built my website and I had a few months and I really built up my private practice. And then I had my second baby and I was like already going to take maybe a month or two off. And then in that month or two, we decided, oh, we're going to move from California to Nashville,
Oh
Tennessee.
yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, that was a lot. And we moved here and had nobody. And my
Mm.
daughter has some special issues. So I had to rebuild our medical team
Yeah.
and daycare team. And even me,
Yep.
like, I knew no practitioners here, which I knew everybody where I lived. I built
Mhm.
up that community over years. So at first I felt so pressured to just keep it going. But then I realized that taking time off wasn't a setback. It was just part of my journey as both a mom and a business owner, because having that anxiety wasn't helping me and my health, and then wasn't helping my babies and this new situation. So I realized, okay, I need to fully just commit with settling and living here and creating a community, and I will have the time to come back to it.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Oh, I have to imagine that you did some deep like work on getting to that place of feeling like this is not forever. This does not mean that I'm losing all the momentum in my business, because I just can imagine for so many of us, especially like ambitious women, we've started our own businesses. That's a challenge and success in and of itself. And so then to put a pause on it, it can bring up a lot of thoughts and feelings of just, is it going to be hard to get it going again? Am I going to have to start from scratch?
Mhm.
Some of those thoughts come up. How did you
Yes,
deal
I'm
with
going to
them?
say how I dealt with that was probably not pretty. And it took me a lot of breakdowns and a lot of money spent on coffee around here. But again, that got me to know my community and that allowed me to build a mom tribe here, which was very crucial for me because I don't have family. But it also made me gain more clarity on who I wanted to serve. So I think coming here and really focusing on meeting other moms, because I was realizing I didn't do that before with one kid. And with two kids, I was struggling personally, obviously with the move as well. And I was like,
Yeah.
I need other people who truly understand, which is moms. And then when I started having this tribe, I got more clarity like, I love this community and no one's serving them how I feel that they should serve them, especially
Yeah.
in the nutrition and mental health realm. I
Yeah.
saw a lot of confusion, especially like moms stressing about, how do I feed my kids? What is good or bad? Like, I'm not being healthy and I'm just eating my kids' scraps because I don't have the money and I don't
Uh-huh.
have the time or the opportunity. And I'm like, wow, this is such a lacking
Mhm.
support. Why
Mhm.
is no one talking about this? Why is no one
Yeah.
specializing in helping just this population? Because I feel like moms don't feel like they can afford it or take the time, right? So that's already a struggle in general. And then when
Yeah.
they do, they're just given these diets or this regimen that they can't realistically do with their family. And
Right.
so I was like, wow, I know what I want to do now. And I have the motivation and I have this tribe to test it on and talk
Right.
about it with. And so I realized, wow, this time that I'm taking off is also allowing me to reset my new reality and desires and get clarity on, wow, before I loved eating disorders because I didn't have kids, but now it's shifted. And that was a hard reality for me because I've wanted to work with eating disorders for 15 years and I have, right? But I realized I don't have to necessarily stop that, but I switch and transition to where I'm at in life and bring that knowledge and experience into this situation. And this could be something.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so powerful to give yourself the permission to pivot and let go of some things that maybe you thought you would continue to do and be working on, and then also just be open to the new ideas. And that's just, it's that crazy thing where it turns out that sometimes a break is the thing that actually moves us forward. It's rather than trying to move forward.
And it's when I recognize that and really let myself believe that, that I've been able to get my motivation and stuff back. And with that, I did have a thriving private practice. And I think coming here, it was a really big struggle for me to realize I can't just come back and do that here.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that, I did decide to go back part time with a group practice here to gain some community and connection and support in this nutrition field, mental health
Yeah.
field, all those kind of stuff to feel like I'm not alone and just to get my toes back into working in this
Right.
field while I also am working on some side projects to inspire me and motivate me and just make me feel like more than a mom again.
Yeah, getting back into the working world, but in different ways. And I think that's great too, that you're also like the income gap, right? Like getting back up going. It's okay, how can I be filling that? And it doesn't always, I think sometimes too, I know I've done this to myself where I almost punish myself for the lack of income or the lack of revenue in something, and then closing down other opportunities, and but then still being stressed out in the lack. And it's, if you need the money and there's this opportunity, and allow it to happen, and then set your boundaries of, okay, I'm like you're doing, like you're working on other things too.
Yes. And I think that prevents a lot of people because, especially like with this job, I'm making extremely less than I was working for myself. But
Mhm.
however, right, this is getting my structure back. It's getting my light back. It's getting my toes dipped in, not on my dime,
Yep.
right? So
Yep.
even if it's less money, it's easier money and it's getting me motivated and inspired and back in my confidence again to be able to maybe not as fastly work on these side projects, but it's giving me the power to actually work on them versus even when I wasn't working on my side projects because I just couldn't get
Right. You
myself
didn't,
there.
yeah, you like didn't have the structure. You're not necessarily in like the
Mhm.
business working mindset. And
Yes.
yeah, it can be tough too. Sometimes, like I find myself sometimes on Monday mornings, I like really don't want to start working. And so I sit there on my couch after I meditated and I journaled, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like writing in my journal, like, I really don't want to go to work. I don't want to work. And the longer that I sit there thinking about it, the harder it is, versus when I just sit down at my computer, it's, oh, that wasn't that bad.
Yep. Yep.
So
Mental
yeah.
peace plays a
Yeah.
role so much more than we think it does.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And there's just so much stuff on our plates as entrepreneurs that from one day to the next, there's things that I love doing and things that I don't want to do, and I'll put them off forever. And then what I often do is I just put them at the top of my to-do list for the next day when I know that I'm going to be fresh. And I'm like, tomorrow Whitney is going to handle that. We're going to give today Whitney a break, and we're going to work on some easy stuff, and then
Boundaries.
tomorrow Whitney's going to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, this structure allows you and me to be more intentional with my time, right? So then I can focus on the projects that truly light me up. And then those
Right.
projects that light me up get me more motivated to be able to do all the other not so fun tasks that I have to do. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because there's things to, and I want to hear like what these projects are. Like there's things probably that you're having to do, even though these projects might be interesting to you, there's still stuff that you may not enjoy doing as much, but it's just like the whole picture of it. And it goes with the website stuff too. I'm sure there were parts of working on your website and the program that still were not like rainbows and butterflies.
Yes.
Like you get stuck, you're like, man, this is just really painful. I don't know what to do. Maybe that's like indecision. And then I
Mhm.
don't know about you, but I just find I just need to take a break or I need to walk away
Yes.
because that efforting through it,
Mhm.
like we talked about, like just trying to get it done usually is not the right answer.
Yes. And sometimes the time away gives you the clarity you need to be able to come back to it. So, yes, I've definitely learned that over my years of being alive.
So what are some of the projects that you're working on now that you're excited about and that are going to maybe start showing their faces?
Yeah. So, again, one thing with moving here, I really got into my mom phase and zone and met some mom friends. And I just realized everything is so tailored to something specific, like weight loss or bounce back, or I don't know. It's just very specific. And me and my girlfriends would always have these crazy, wild, truthful, raw, like voice notes and texts and all these kind of things. And we're like, we should make this a podcast. I don't know if anyone would listen to it, but I think some people don't want this curated, like, information or
Yeah.
specific structure in doing something. They just want, okay, can people just be real moms here? This shit is
Yeah.
hard. This is
Mhm.
hard. Even I'm a dietitian, it's still hard to feed my kids, right? I have a friend that's a teacher and it's still hard to teach her kids,
Yeah.
right? Like no one's talking about these just random raw conversations.
Yeah.
So one of my things is we started a mom brain podcast. So it's
I love
called
it.
Mom Brain Renourished because mom brain is a real thing, right? But I think the idea around it has gotten skewed. So we're redefining what that means because
Mhm.
moms' brains are psychologically and it's
Mm.
a thing, but it's not a bad thing. And so how can
Yeah.
we be real and talk about it and renourish ourselves like mentally, physically, emotionally, and give ourselves permission to do. And so that's something that I started.
That's awesome. I love it. Yeah,
Mhm,
I was
mhm.
peeking at one of your episodes and so we'll put it in the show notes too so people can check it out and just yeah, congrats. Podcasts are great. And so is that going to be something that you eventually are maybe going to showcase on your website too or use as
Yes.
part of your marketing efforts? Yeah.
Yeah, so once I started this, so I started the podcast, but in besides that too, like I told you when I figured out, oh, this is like an untapped field, I
Yeah.
wanted to make I am in the process of making a Mom Brain Renourished course. That's not just specific like this is the dietary guidelines here, but
Yeah.
going into health and being healthy is one small slice nutrition, but how can we pair it together with mental health and self care and food and nutrition and environmental factors and all these
Mhm.
kind of things? And it's the technology piece that's slowing me down here because, again, also with the website, it's some of these like weird, I'm like, I don't know how to do this and it's pissing me off. So I'm going to stop.
Yeah.
But I want to, I'm still trying to figure out how to make it very easily accessible and digestible for moms. Because even me, I definitely have a neurodivergent brain, and I buy these courses with so much intention. And I've got to say, yours
Mhm.
is the only one that I actually went through all the way ever in my life because I was dedicated to doing this course. I'm building my website, but I want it to be. I'm trying to figure out how to be able to have moms go through this that they it's realistic, like whether they're listening to
Yeah.
it on their stroller walk or doing laundry or having a worksheet that is just very simple and basic that they could put up on their fridge and just do a check mark or have little
Right.
tidbits like 2-minute nutrition tips that if they can't listen to a podcast or like in my lesson, they just do the tips every single day until they get the mindset be like, okay, now I have time to this isn't overwhelming. Let me listen to the course. I'm
Mhm.
trying to figure out the little stages I could do to get people motivated and have it be easy and
Yeah.
digestible and tangible for moms. So I'm still wiring the framework of that, but it will be out. I'm telling everybody. So I have the idea
Yeah.
that I have to do this.
Yeah, I love it. And I think that's such a great point about, and actually I think the episode aired, it'll be last week when we're recording this, but it was just about selling in 2025 and really just like modern times and how courses were, a lot of people launched courses in 2020, like during the pandemic, like everyone was launching courses, and there's so much out there. And especially now when you have people being able to talk into ChatGPT and get answers and all of that, like their attention spans are so short,
Yes. Yes.
and they're just not wanting. It's not impressive to say that you have 40 modules for people to go through. And especially as a mom, you're knowing your audience and you're specifically looking at, okay, how can I tailor this to how they're going to learn, how they're going to take action? And then you can structure it correctly, but then also market it in that way so that they
Mhm.
also know that this is not just another
Yeah.
whatever course that you're never going to listen to because you don't have time and your kids are screaming and you need to get dinner on the table and you have a
Yes.
full-time job or something. Like this is
Yes.
not another item on your to-do list. This is for you. This is your time.
Yep. And
So,
that's exactly what I really want, because a lot of moms, they don't have the financial means or the time to go to a nutrition session once a week every single week. And honestly,
yeah.
I as a mom myself, I don't even think that's gonna be useful for you. Like, it's too much time in between. It's too unrealistic right now, depending on the ages of your
Yeah.
kids. Like, in my stage of little kids, it's just not gonna work, right?
Yeah.
So how can I give little tidbits of nutrition knowledge for them to build the connection and understanding within themselves, to start really small, easy little
Mhm.
things that can
Mhm.
get them curious and understanding, and to continue that for the rest of their life, versus this big overwhelming hour conversation that's only once a
Right.
week and we can only get so
Right.
far. And that's also what's
Yeah.
been I've been struggling with having one-on-one sessions. I want to do something like this that is more helpful to more people in a more realistic way.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you thought about, you probably have thought about either the like a group program model or some kind of small community that
Mhm.
is maybe more asynchronous so that it's not like everyone has to be hopping on a call at the same time or something like
Yes,
that?
and that's what I'm trying to figure out. I think I'm gonna start with just building kind of some modules that people could just grab whenever they want to,
Huh?
just to get it marketed and going.
Yeah.
And then once I have a community and I get some feedback and what people are useful and not useful, then I think I'm gonna start doing like small 3-month courses. Not that you have to
Oh,
finish the
yeah.
entire course, but we're gonna have weekly meetings that your kids can come on, or it does not matter, just so you're present
Yeah.
and there. They'll be recorded. Or so I'm thinking I'm gonna build a course first,
Yep.
and get some moms feedback and everything, to make sure that this is doable and realistic, and get comments and get feedback. I want all of that. I know I'm
Yeah.
not perfect, and this will never be, it will always be changing, but I want to
Mhm.
make sure that it's digestible and understandable. And then once I gain a little bit of community and see like the need for it, and I can have a backbone to have like small groups, 10 or
Yeah.
less, little cohorts would be, I think that would be ideal.
I love it. And I love that you're approaching it from doing that beta testing first. That's
Mhm.
definitely what I did with the my website program when I first
Mhm.
started is smaller group. So much has changed. We do our own, we had been doing, because we've been running it now for over 3 years. So at the time, every time we did a cohort, we did a debrief internally within our team to see, okay, what was feeling good, what wasn't feeling good. We got feedback from people, and I think that's one of the biggest things that can keep business owners from launching like a program or a service or anything, is that they feel like they need to have it be perfect and throw everything in there. But really, it's do the minimum viable product. Like, what do you think is just needed to get people to get some kind of result? And then do what you're doing, ask for feedback, let people know this is a beta version, give them a discount, and ask for
You know what?
feedback.
And I love that you're saying that, because I have all these big ideas, right? But if I just, those big ideas can just be too big right now, and it could prevent me from just getting something done and getting it
Yeah.
out there. And
Yeah.
so I think starting small, realizing like I have all the time in the world, but if I do it this way, it will end up being faster if I and let it if I just do this huge thing that takes me months and months and
Right.
months, and then it's too much. And all these kind
Yeah.
of things. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I'm starting small. We'll sell it, give it to my friends, get some feedback, do little
Yep.
cohorts here and there. And I, I I have really high hopes for this. So I really want it to be something that's going to be great.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a great idea and I love how you're going about it. And I think too, you're probably doing this because you also have a copywriting background, right? Nutrition
Yes.
writing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that as you're going through this too, you'll be collecting a lot of just phrases and feedback of how these moms are interacting with it, what kinds of problems is it solving for them, so that when you go to publicly launch it and really promote it and put like a full sales page, and we have the program page templates in our arsenal for you to use,
Mhm. Mhm.
but there's a lot of copy that can go on there to sell like a course or a program, because often it's counterintuitive, but usually when we're selling something that's like a little bit more of a passive product, we often like need more content on the sales page on the website, because also people are not getting on a call with you. They're not necessarily like building
Mhm.
up that relationship with you so much. And so we need them to
Yeah.
build that trust just from that sales
Yes.
page. But the
Yeah.
more that you use that copy that is actually going to speak to your customers, because you are a mom, so you're probably closer to your ideal customer. But like sometimes we think that how
Yeah.
we're saying something is the way our customers are thinking about it. And then
Oh,
it
yeah.
turns out, oh no.
I think that's so true. Even again, being a dietitian and a mom, like I forget how much knowledge I have, and then I'm like, oh, like I don't know anything. Like they won't, they're not getting anything from me, and they ask me the most
Mm,
basic question. I'm like, ooh, I probably do know a little too much. I need to step back a little bit for them.
yeah.
So that was
Yeah.
actually, again, this is where I think about everything too. This is also why I launched the podcast first, right? Because that was something fun and intuitive, and maybe to gain an audience and to see what
Yeah.
people's feedbacks are, or see what people are really struggling with or talking about. So, first little step to get my ideal clients information
Mm-hmm.
before I do some other things as well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I agree. Like launching a podcast, as I'm sure and are finding, is a lot of work. And there's a
Yes.
lot of editing and there's a lot of things behind the scenes. You guys even have more than I do. I don't have like an intro on my each episode. I just
Mhm.
raw dog it. It just goes straight in. We just go straight in. There's no
Yeah.
sound, there's no intro. I want to do one at some point, but I know
Mhm.
for myself when I was launching, I was like, I need to make this the easiest possible
Mhm.
thing to launch.
Mhm.
And so I don't have fancy equipment. I don't have any like
Yep.
fancy, intro, outro. And one day, yes, but you just got to get it launched. And then for me, it's helped me improve my confidence of teaching and speaking about things. I don't know
That was my
how,
hope too. That was
yeah,
my hope too, because I want to be able to do these videos, and I keep overthinking myself. Am I going to talk correctly? Am I going to be explaining this correctly? Do I have as much knowledge as I want? I think
yeah.
getting on the microphone is also helping me realize, like, oh, I can talk. I can communicate. I do know things. I can say things into a way that moms like to hear. And I think that was another thing for me. Like, I don't have to be so professional because moms don't connect with that.
Yeah.
So it's okay to be more raw and unedited and just low maintenance, because that is literally the community that I'm attracting. Let me practice what I preach.
Yeah, that's so true. I think for all of us, we need to show up in the way that we're really wanting our brand to be,
Yeah.
developing a relationship with our customers. And I'm very much the same way. Like, sure, I like to be polished. I like my graphics to look nice and all of that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I want people to just show up as they are and try and make progress over trying to perfect everything and just like forward momentum. And it's as much for myself as it is for my customers, I feel, because I'm constantly telling myself, like, you're going to get better with practice. You need to practice. I always want to be perfect on day one, but
Mhm.
no, you got to
Yes, I
get
get it.
get the
But
website
I think
up.
that's what we were
Yeah.
taught, right? I think that's why our
Mm.
parents and that generation never really did anything for them, or because it was like, you don't know what you're doing, don't you can't do it. Or you can't start your own business, or you
Oh,
can't start, because they weren't taught that. They were taught you go to school and you get this job and that is it, because that is what you've learned, that's what you go to do. and that's what I grew up with. My parents, you go to school, you get a job with insurance and everything, and you move on. Even whatever you want to
And
do
you
is just
keep
for
that
fun.
job for the rest of your life or a good 10,
Yes.
20 years. That's what my dad told
Yes.
me.
Yes, literally, that's what our parents did. So I think
Yeah.
that's what we feel. We have to be perfect or polished because that was what we were taught and shown. And so when I didn't do that, I felt so bad about myself. I was so different from my family. I was like this
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
misfit or
Imposter.
whatever.
Yeah. Right.
But people want to see that they can just start or be unpolished or and get to these high rankings without having all of this
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's, at least for me too, I love seeing those stories. I'm like, wait, you had nothing and you just started. Okay, do it too.
Yeah. Yeah. All of us, even the biggest people that have thousands of people on their email list, they all started with 0 people on their email list.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it is. And some people get there faster, get there differently. Everyone's on their own journey. But yeah, I think so many of the practitioners that I work with, they're all obviously so smart, so talented, so passionate. And sometimes we just get in our own way of actually
Mm-hmm.
getting that message out there, and we get embarrassed that we're not 100% perfect. Like even working on your website and this feeling of, oh, I'm embarrassed that my headline isn't perfect. Maybe you've been watching one of my videos talking about like how to write your headline and you're trying and it's not great, and you get all worked up about it. Even I take programs, I'm in masterminds and things, and I'm like, I'm not getting it exactly as they told me to do it. And I'm so bad at this. And it's just, the point is for you to take the advice and keep moving forward, not have to feel like you have to be perfect on the first try.
Yeah.
So
Sustainability over hustle.
yeah. Yeah.
Slow,
That's,
steady, meaningful growth. That that's my model right now.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. So, are there other things as you're going into this pivot and going into this new phase in your business and different things that you're working on? Are there other things that you took away from our website program that are coming in handy now as you're moving forward?
Yeah, I think just again realizing that if I could get help with a backbone of something, right? And then also learn to do things for myself. So realizing like I think before I would take courses and again feel like I have to do everything perfectly
Mm-hmm.
to and have this end result. So I'm prioritizing more things that help give more backbone and support and freedom, right? For you to pour in your own energy to it, but then you could also get help. I really loved that about yours because also you get it in product, right?
Yeah.
But you also get something that has the framework and then it teaches you how to have your own creativity and your own personality and then teaches you how to do it all yourself if you want to change the whole entire thing later on. I
Right.
really liked that freedom because if I messed something up or if I didn't like it like a year later, I could fix it. Right. But I
Yeah.
still had that structure and I still had that help and support and that framework. And then also all those videos that I could continue to go back to. And it just is forever useful. And that's
Mm-hmm.
also I think what really helped me is and what I want to do with my course is something that gives a framework and that is forever useful. This is like with diets, right? If you have a specific diet, that's also not forever useful because if
Yeah.
you're pregnant, postpartum, if you move cross country to a new food environment, all these kind of things, your food will never be
Changes.
forever,
Right.
right? So, how can I teach somebody the backbones and have them
Mm-hmm.
understand and be able to have that creative freedom, creative understanding within themselves, right? To be able to do that for their entire life, but come back to that backbone and still learn
Right.
from it.
It's all about learning like the skills on how to do these things rather than being told or given a solution that you
Yeah.
only know how that one solution works, and it's you don't know how to change it. And I think that is definitely the challenge with when you go the traditional route of hiring someone to do your website for you. You have to have everything set. You need to ship one set of copy. You need to know all your services, what they are, what you're going to say about them, and then you give it to them, and that's it. And then if you want to change it in the future, we would give training videos at the end about how to edit small things and all of that. But if you wanted to like make whole new pages and swap stuff around, like we weren't able to teach our custom website clients how to do all of that. And so you just don't have as much knowledge about that stuff. And then yeah, so you have to have everything set, and then you can never fix it. And then you don't really have that ownership over the knowledge of how to make those changes. And so I think it's cool that you're drawing that analogy of, yeah, we're in our program, we taught you like, okay, this is how you write copy. This is how a sales page should flow. This is how you create a lead magnet. This is how you do keyword research, not giving you the keywords, but teaching you how to find the keywords so that as you build new pages or you want to do more blog posts, like you know how to figure that out. And so in your program, yeah, you're going to help these moms figure out, okay, I'm not telling you a list of foods to buy each week. I'm going to teach you how to figure out what foods you want to be buying for your own family each week based on what you want and need.
Yeah, it's so funny, this analogy, because what I'm realizing is like traditional dietitians and nutrition services is here's the good and bad food, here's your diet plan,
Yeah.
and that's what people think they want
Yes. Yeah. People
because
want a
they
meal
want it to.
plan.
Yes,
Yeah.
but it baffles me because then if a trauma happens or if life gets super busy or like me, you move cross country, whatever,
Yeah.
you don't know anything. That's why these diets fail or these food
Yeah.
programs fail because you don't learn anything. And so it's funny in all other aspects of life now, people want to learn how to do it themselves to be able to thrive.
Yeah.
Why can't we make that shift with nutrition? So that's what I want to change. And I want to be the dietitian that shows people I'm not going to tell you what to eat. I'm not going
Mm-hmm.
to tell you what's good or bad. I'm going to teach you how to listen to your body because no one
Mm-hmm.
knows how to do that. It's actually shocking. Do you
Mm.
know what hunger and fullness means? Do you know what food that settles well in your system? Do you know what
Mm.
cravings mean to you? Because a craving is not a bad word. It's telling you something,
Mm.
but don't ignore it. So it's just a very interesting thing. So that's what I want this course to be able to show moms. I'm not going to give you this rubric because your life is not going to be obtained to this. But how could I
Right.
teach you how to be okay in any crazy, drastic period of life and still
Yeah.
have the understanding of yourself to be able to nourish yourself and go and move on and your
Right.
kids.
And not have to resort to just eating peanut M&Ms. Like there is a middle ground. Like
Exactly. And it's sad because people, it is black or white. Either I'm eating perfect or
yeah,
I'm going to go eat some Cheetos or whatever. I'm like, it doesn't have to be that way.
which there's nothing wrong with Cheetos or peanut
Yes.
M&Ms, but
Yes. Maybe with a meal
not for
would be
dinner.
lovely.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Not just the sole meal. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's yeah, there's so many things I think even in business too where it's okay, you maybe get this framework or something, but as soon as you fall off of it a little bit, whether it's the diet or whether it's you're supposed to be doing this posting schedule on social media or whatever, and you're just having to do the things, but then something, yeah, life comes up, something goes wrong. And then because you haven't been like fully engaged in actually understanding like how that thing works and really internalizing it, it's less likely that you're actually going to stick with it and be able to adapt on your own, which is
Yeah.
ultimately what all of
Exactly.
us need to be able to do. Because yeah, life
Yes.
changes.
Exactly. Exactly.
This has been such a wonderful conversation. I want to ask about some if there's any other projects that you want to share with us. But first, I want to ask you, what is something that you've learned as you've navigated your own growth journey that you want our listeners to hear or know about?
I think everyone says something along this lines, but it's taken me a while to realize that I don't have to do it all right now. That was really hard for me to really
Mm.
gauge, but I'm realizing like we have all the time in the world to attain our business goals. Like we could be 80 years old and create a new business. It's okay. But especially for me right now as a mom, my kids will never be this age. We'll never have these memories back. We'll never have these innocent moments back, right? So as much as I need to feel more than a mom and do my own things, it's not going to be my sole priority right now because my priorities are my kids. And once
Mhm.
I've really understood that, I'm starting to have more motivation and desire to do my side projects, but also know that I could go play with my kids and then when they go to bed, read and not work on my projects because I don't have to always be hustling because
Yeah.
prioritizing myself will eventually work and prioritizing the desires and the projects that I want to do, but it doesn't have to be in an instant.
Yeah. Oh, man. I am so glad I asked you that question. That was wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. That's just
You're
such
welcome.
wonderful advice. So, Emily, are there any other things that you want to share? We're going to put things in the show notes, but other ways for people to connect with you, maybe see what you're doing if they have clients that might be interested even in, or maybe they know people in their life that might be helped by things that you're doing.
Okay, so a few things. I
Yeah.
did create a little ebook for busy people on intuitive eating and breaking down the structure and trying to teach you how to ask yourself these questions and give you the framework of eating. So I created kind of an ebook that goes more into the framework and the why and the reasoning why I'm doing it like this versus giving you recipes or giving you nutrition exactly advice like that. So I love that. I love my little ebook. So if you want to purchase that because you don't want to invest in sessions, there's that. And then I will be creating this course. It is catered towards moms, but it could work for anybody because I'm going to go through the breakdown of how to ask ourselves these questions and really realign with who we are and be more connected with our body. And then how true health or being healthy is barely about food. It's about everything else that goes with it. So we're going to go through that. And then I have my podcast. It's on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, Mom Brain Renourished. And then I have my website, www.emilybown.com, and I will be fixing it. If anyone sees anything or something doesn't work, please message me. I'm so open for feedback. That is my next project to start implementing all my projects and putting it on my website. And then
Love it.
on Instagram, Marvelous Eats, and then TikTok, emilybound.rd.
Love it. Oh, thank you so much for being here and sharing all of this with us, Emily. Very inspiring and I'm sure helpful for anyone, whether they're a mom, whether they've taken a step away from their business. So just thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. It was so fun being on this. I loved it. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of The Growth Show. And a gigantic thank you to Emily for being our guest and just having some really great conversations. I think we had a good dose of just business advice as well as brainstorming a little bit about some of the new projects and offers that she's working on and how she is approaching selling those and getting those launched and what she's letting go of in order to get those launched in a way that's going to feel good for her and prioritize time with her kiddos and make it really an enjoyable experience. So I love it. You can learn more about Emily. You can connect with her. You can see all of the different things that she shared with us at the end, like her podcast and her ebook and going to her website. We have all of that in the show notes. And one more reminder that I have my free training coming up soon. Have more clients saying yes to working with you. We are going to be diving into what you need to be shifting on your website so more people are connecting with you, trusting you, and wanting to work with you. Selling does not have to be difficult. It can be easier when you have the right systems and website set up to support you. So I'm giving that free training in a couple weeks, beginning of October 7th and 8th. So go to whitneybateson.com to pick your day and time that you'd like to attend the training. And I hope to see you there. And thank you for listening. Please share this episode with your friends and colleagues if they would benefit from what we covered today with Emily, and give us a rating or review. That really helps us reach more people too. All right, I'll see you on the next episode.